My name is Erin Alexander, and I have been a member of Mirabai Star's Holy Lament group for the last 12 months. I found Mirabai's work right after my dad unexpectedly passed away of a heart attack halfway across the world. I was not able to get back in time. I was not able to say goodbye. And worst of all, I was far away from my family for most of my grieving process. So I felt very alone. And when Mirabai's work came into my lap after the first call, I just knew that Mirabai was the guide I could sit with in the midst of this extreme suffering. And what drew me so deeply into her arms and her womb and her circle was that she kept affirming for me that nothing wrong was happening. The wild sensations I was having, um, the intensity of some of the parts of the loss that I wasn't expecting. She really kept affirming for me that something sacred was happening to me, that I was being transformed, and that I could stay with the experience knowing that it was holy, that there was not something to be avoided here. There was no mistakes that had happened, only a profound experience of transformation. And I realized, that I was going to need people to walk with me through it because I tend to fall into depression if I'm not careful. And I didn't really have anyone here where I live that was able to sit with me. And so through the Holy Lament group, every time we met, I just met these wonderful, incredible, inspiring people from all different walks of life, all different faith traditions and none, who were experiencing the exact same things that I was experiencing. And through the work of listening to her talks and singing together with Willow and the group, I just felt my heart open to the experience. And through our writing activities, was really able to access this deep, wise part of myself that had a lot of clarity about what was going on with me, that I just really couldn't access that part of myself amidst the intensity of the experience of grief and raising a family and running a business. And so it just offered me such a safe, warm, loving place to be with myself, to be with my process, and to really be affirmed that this too was a sacred experience. I really have found that the world did not know what to do with me during that time of intense loss. And, this is kind of how I got stuck into addictive habits back in the past, where I would just have big sensations and not know where to go with them and feel like something must be terribly wrong with me because I was looking out to a culture that didn't affirm that it was okay to feel. And so instead of dealing with what was arising for me, I would just numb myself however I could. And I really am so blessed and so grateful for the Holy Lament Circle because I really was able to consciously stay with the process of my first year of loss in a way that felt held and intelligent and connected. And I really felt through the whole experience um, that loss is a part of the human experience. There was not a single person I met who did not somehow understand this whole experience. And I felt this extreme sense of belonging to the human family. And when I would leave our Zoom calls, I would walk out into the world and recognize that so many people are also moving through pain in their own way and maybe just don't have a place to go to be with it and to speak to it, to be held in it. And so I just found this incredible sense of compassion arising in my own heart because I was held in such deep compassion by fellow grievers during that time and truly experienced a sense of belonging and compassion to the greater human family that I don't think I could have experienced if it weren't for Mirabai's loving, kind, wise hands. I cannot more highly recommend Mirabai's work, particularly the Holy Lament Circle, and mostly because in her work, there is a continued invitation to stay with what's arising, to see it as sacred, and to recognize that within us all, if we really hold on to each other, we can build the resilience to move through the deep contractions that come along with being a human, particularly on Earth, particularly right now. and that this love and compassion that we can experience can be felt by anyone across the world, and that grief really can be the connector of the human heart in a way that not many things can be. And so I highly, highly recommend her work, and trust her with incredible amounts of pain and loss, and her ability to help us all move through it and transform it so that our hearts just remain open and open and open to the world.